Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Game On, a sports podcast for everyone. I'm your host, Don. We're joined today, unfortunately, no Brooke. She millennialed out on us. But I do have DannyMiami in the house. Danny, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, guys? Well, good to see you guys. Happy Friday. What up, Downey?
Thank you, buddy. And we also have Bryce, fresh off his soccer teaching skills class. Bryce, what's up, buddy?
Not much. While you say soccer teaching skills, it's actually called Soccer Shots. And while I'm at it right now, I just want to give Soccer Shots a shout out. If you guys want your kids to play soccer, take them to Soccer Shots. They're all over the Elkhart South End area, even down here in Fort Wayne. If we have any Fort Wayne listeners, they're down here as well. Email them up in South End or down here at Fort Wayne.
Are you a coach there, Bryce?
Yes, I am. I am a coach, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I also let Soccer Shots know they could send the check. I'll give you my address later for that. They can send the endorsement check later.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So guys, a lot to talk about in sports this week. I know COVID's been a big talking point, literally everything, but we have NBA that started last night. Well, at time of recording right now, but last night, if you're listening, happy Friday. NHL has been playing all week, exhibition games. I was like a kid on Christmas morning. It was so excited. You could ask Danny. I was IMing him, messaging him at work, just super giddy, like a little school kid.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell is this? I mean, I get it, but exhibition games, bro? Like, I would never – I don't even watch preseason football, and I love football.
Yeah, but dude –
he is an Islander fan, so –
Oh, you're such a dick.
Here we go.
I'm not an Islander fan. You know, you want to hear something fucked up?
What?
Big Islanders fan over there, boys.
All right, so the name of our podcast is Game On, a sports podcast for everyone, right? Do you know what the Islanders' new slogan is for the playoffs?
No way.
Game on. Yep.
Wow.
So the other night I put Game On, hashtag Game On, and I didn't realize it. I sent the tweet out. It had the fucking Islander logo next to it.
I'm done here. How do you turn on this fucking mic? How do you turn off the mic?
I couldn't believe it. I wanted to vomit. I was so mad at myself. I left it because I'm like, I'm not going to take down the tweet because it was a good tweet. But I was like, oh, this is gross. Like, I felt like I've betrayed, like, my dad. Like, you know, like when you do something and your parents say, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. And it's worse. And it feels worse. And that's how I felt. But yeah, I mean, you know, pretty excited to get, you know, all these, I mean, it's funny, all these fall/winter sports are coming back in the, you know, the middle to end of summer. But, you know, MLB starting back, MLB, Jesus Christ. I think I drank a little too much.
Yeah.
MLB has already started, but we'll get to that after. NBA is starting. It's an interesting dynamic that they have as far as their, you know, return to play. So they have 22 teams in the bubble at Disney World, at Y World of Sport.
Okay, wait, what? Slow me down. Bubble?
Yeah, so you're going to hear that word a lot tonight.
I need to – this is fucked.
So, but you'll understand later as the jokes come. So the bubble, meaning players aren't supposed to leave. Danny can see my air quotes. Bryce can see my air quotes, but the listeners can't. But yes, the players are not supposed to leave. They're supposed to stay. They get fed there. They stay at the hotels. They even have barber shops that they built up in this bubble at Disney for the players so they can stay fresh, clean, nice, cool, calm, and collected, have that fresh cut ready to go for these play-in games. But 22 teams in the bubble. They'll play an 8-game regular season between all the teams to determine seedings for the playoffs. Top 7 teams from each conference will continue on into the playoffs, and the 8th seed could come down to a play-in tournament. Sounds a lot more complicated than what the NHL has. We'll explain that as well. I've talked about that a lot in my What the Puck episodes on YouTube. So it's a 16-team playoff field, like normal. The playoffs will begin after this 8-game regular season on August 17th. I mean, it's going to go a long time. I mean, it's the same thing as hockey. I mean, they're going to go the last game of the season, I think, is mid to late October would be the finals.
Oh my
and that's
goodness.
when the NBA would actually start back up again. So
same with NHL.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I'll get to the NHL. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the landscape of these sports change. I mean, I've mentioned that on a couple shows, how normally we're all used to hockey, basketball starts in October, ends in, the beginning of June, off season, draft, and then we'll see in October. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case this year, how they're going to spell that and figure all that out.
We're going to have multiple playoffs going on. We're going to have NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs all at once. Like,
and,
it's going to be
and the MLB playoffs.
Jeez.
Oh, no, MLS won't be done.
MLS will be done.
Yeah, but still, that's a lot of sports.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of one. We're literally having
what we want, bro.
I know.
I mean, it's all sports in one season. It's a very condensed way to watch sports, man.
I say baseball, but we'll get to that if there is a baseball season.
Oh gosh.
But the funny thing about I know, it's a funny thing at the NBA bubble at Disney because so I want to touch on this, and this is something I was always told as a kid: snitches get stitches, right?
Right.
Don't snitch on people
all day.
Well, the NBA has created a NBA bubble snitch hotline.
No.
For workers. Oh, this is good. This is golden.
Fuck no.
This is golden. So they've created an NBA snitch hotline for the bubble. Yes, the bubble.
What the fuck?
At Disney World. So people that work for Disney that are there at the hotels, or even players or personnel for teams or whatever, can call this hotline and pretty much snitch on their colleagues or the players or personnel for breaking protocol.
No.
Let's say.
No.
So apparently there's already been about 47 breaches of protocol. But this is good. All for players picking up their Postmates food. Because apparently the food, which I don't get it because I like going to Disney and eating the food there, but apparently these bougie ass basketball players don't like the fucking food at Disney. So Postmates is what they're doing. Also, fun fact, Lou Williams, LA Clippers guard, is on 10-day quarantine. Not because he has COVID.
No.
Because he decided that he's going to take a vacation to go to Atlanta and go to a strip club.
That is so bad.
Just curious.
That is so bad.
Just curious. What is going on at these Atlanta strip clubs? Because we'll get to something else later that has to do with the MLB with a similar situation.
Hey, listen, man. When I lived in Miami, people would drive to Atlanta for the strip clubs, and I had no idea why. I've never been to an Atlanta strip club, but I mean, geez, is it worth it that much? Like, not playing ball for 10 days, getting a 10-day quarantine?
10-day quarantine for dropping $20 bills on someone's G-string.
10-day quarantine, bro. That's what that guy's.
I think Danny K knows something about that. He lives in Atlanta.
Oh, man, you know what? I should ask him.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And Pistol P. Was he with him? Pistol P with his NBA stuff. He's hanging out with Lou Williams.
They've got to know something. They're like on 20-day quarantine.
Well, here's the thing. They're both out. I think Danny's only 18.
Yeah, he's a youngin.
Hey, there are some ratchet ass strip clubs for 18-year-olds. Son.
Hey, there's one here in South Bend called Peaches Show Club, Show Bar, or whatever.
Excuse me, what's it called?
Peaches Show Bar.
Peaches.
Yeah, it's like a little peach door on Michigan Street. Shout out to Peaches.
Oh gosh,
I've never been there, but I think that is where the coronavirus started. I'm pretty sure that it started. Trump calls it the China virus. It's the Peaches Bar virus. There's no way that's a thing. God. But yeah, I mean, with NBA, I mean, they started play.
No,
they're coming back. I mean, it was a shaky start.
Hold on, before you go too far. Hold on, I got.
What are we going back to?
I'm still fascinated by this. Real quick, hold on. So there's a bubble in Orlando that happens to be Disney, and basically, you mean to tell me that they're encouraging for Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck to rat out their NBA players?
I mean, pretty much, yes. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, they're walking around.
Donnie, we got it for the show. We got to do this. We got to call that hotline and pretend to be snitching out a basketball player.
I don't know what the number is. They never listed it.
First of all, I need to first of all get a hold of the application for that job, like the Snitch Hotline.
So
I
where
need the application for
we
that
need
job.
to ask Carlos. He used to work for Disney.
Oh fuck! Hold on,
Really?
let me.
Yeah, he was a cook at Be Our Guest in Magic Kingdom.
Yo, I just need to know. I just
We're gonna find this out. We're gonna find this out, and we're gonna blast it
No,
on.
I have to find out.
Oh, he's calling him. He's really calling Carlos right now. I think he's working.
Oh really?
I think so. He was having a hell
Who
of a time.
cares? Who cares?
He's gonna scream at you.
Bro, I don't know. What are friends for if not to call him in the middle of a podcast and ask him about a Snitch Hotline?
I don't think he's gonna pick up. He saw your number. He's like, "Get fucked."
No, come on, man.
Dude, he's making fucking chicken piccata right now. He's not gonna answer you.
Come on, chef.
Hello. Thank you for calling.
Hey.
Oh, you got you have.
Hold on.
Damn it.
We're gonna leave him a voicemail live on there.
Please enter your password.
I don't-
And press pound.
I don't have a password.
What the hell did
Oh
you do?
man. Yo, Carlos, give me a call, man. It's not for the money you owe me. I just need to ask you a question about a Snitch Hotline. Thanks. Peace. All right.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I mean, it's kind of intriguing to see how this is going to go. You kind of knew that. I mean, we'll get to the NHL bubble in a second, but you look at the NBA bubble and you look at those players and the way they are, and you kind of knew that there was going to be an issue. I mean, there's been several accounts. I mean, they're complaining about the food. They're doing all this stuff, but they are playing games. They are going to continue.
Bougie.
They're super bougie. I don't understand it. But back to the sports side of it, I mean, it should be a lot of fun to get the NBA back. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The NBA has disappointed me. Maybe it's because I'm a Knicks fan. I don't know. That might be it because they're just a joke. But I'm excited to see. I mean, it's been so long without sports. So
Yeah.
I pretty much watch anything at this point. I mean, yes, I'm so thankful hockey's coming back. I'm so thankful baseball's back, maybe. But, you know, even to have the NBA and just watch a sporting event, I don't care. It helps your psyche. It helps get you through this. So, I mean, I'm pretty pumped about it. And we'll cover the NBA as the playoffs go and see, you know, give you series updates and things like that. But, I mean, we're gonna move on here to the NHL, which is Don's bread and butter. Here we go.
Go Jacks.
So, here we go. This guy is with his Columbus Blue Jackets. So they started playing exhibition games this week. I was super pumped, and you know I was super pumped that I posted about watching the first game between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, who I can give honestly two shits about. I was just excited to watch something be played on ice. It is kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. It is very, very silent. I mean, they do pump in a little bit of crowd noise, which is, again, odd. They did. It is cool to watch the games because there are no fans. So they're taking advantage of different camera angles, which is a lot of fun to see. There's also it's not a stage, but if anyone's watched the games, you can see obviously camera view up on the top. They have two giant big boards and a big NHL looking thing. It almost looks like a video game scene. If you've ever played NHL 19 or whatever one is out right now, it looks like NHL 3s. The way their thing is set up in the game, and it's really interesting. Whenever any team scores, it is their goal horn that they do use and their goal music. From what I understand, when the playoffs start on Saturday, which is when they start, first games between the Rangers and Carolina at noon, they will have – so what they ask fans to do, season ticket holders for the various teams, is to send videos and things of chanting their, let's go Rangers or whatever, and they will put it up on the board as the game is played to make them feel like they're home, depending on who's the home and away team. And it was funny the other night. I was watching Montreal and Toronto, who are bitter rivals, obviously. But Montreal in the game was the home team, and Toronto was the away team. However, they're playing in Toronto. So when they showed the Toronto locker room, since Montreal was the home team, there was Montreal Canadiens jerseys hanging in the Toronto locker room. And to be honest with you, that's gotta. I mean, I'll tell you what. Being a diehard Ranger fan, if ever the Islanders used the home locker room at Madison Square Garden, and there was Islander jerseys hanging in there, you might as well fucking burn the place down. So I could just imagine, and it was funny watching Carey Price walk out, the goalie for Montreal, walk out of the tunnel and turning the wrong direction because he's used to coming out on the other side.
No, jeez.
So it was a complete shit show, and it was funny, but it makes for good stories, and it makes for a good time.
Of course, man.
I really, really enjoyed watching these exhibition games. Actually, it's funny. The ratings for the exhibition games were just ridiculous, especially in Canada, obviously, because, well, I mean, there hasn't been shit on.
Yeah.
So if you think about it,
this is it.
I mean, this is what we have. So, I mean, I'm pretty pumped for that. I mean, the playoffs, like I said, start on Saturday. They're
how many games are we getting Saturday?
Saturday, there's going to be a total of, I believe, 6 games.
Right. So 12 teams are playing.
Yeah, no, 6 or 7. I got to look again. The schedule throws me off. Why? Because they have these stupid round robin games that are being done by the top 4 teams in each conference. So you have the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. So you have 4 teams from each conference that are pretty much getting buys. They're just playing a round robin for seeding, which I think is the biggest waste of fucking time ever. The main thing is watching the 8 play-in series, which are best of 5, 4 series for each conference. And I'll tell you, there's so many interesting series. And if you check out our YouTube channel, me, Jeff, and Drew on What the Puck covered the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference in depth. But, I mean, I'll break it down a little bit. So in the Eastern Conference, you have Toronto and Columbus playing a best-of-5 series. You have Pittsburgh and Montreal playing a best-of-5. The Rangers and Carolina, and Florida and the Islanders. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
I can't
say
the
the
Islanders.
Panthers are in the playoffs?
The Panthers are in the playoffs.
How the fuck?
Miami represent, Danny.
How the fuck?
They made it.
I asked the same thing when Columbus made the playoffs and when the Rangers made the playoffs. Sorry, Donnie, but
Hey.
Yo, but in all seriousness, so what do the Panthers play this weekend? Please tell me yes.
I believe they play Sunday.
Yes!
No, Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
What time?
I think. You know what? Fuck it. I don't know.
No, hold on.
I'm not the NHL, Danny.
No, I know you're not. But
I should know
you're
this.
pretty close to it to me in my heart, bro.
Yeah.
What up, Bryce?
you know, Barkov could suck a fat one. You know that, right?
I don't think Danny cares. I think he's just worried about the Panthers being in the playoffs. So I'm going to I am going to let someone in on this conversation. I have a treat for you guys.
Oh, no way.
I have a treat for you guys.
Is she coming on?
I have a treat.
What is it?
It's our best friend from the Atlanta strip clubs himself.
No.
Oh, yes. Danny.
No.
Danny.
Boy.
Hey.
Oh my.
What up? Hey, what's
There
up,
he
Danny?
is.
That's hopefully that's an introduction I never get again. That's a special one.
Well, there's a reason for it, and we can explain. So,
Please do.
going back, and I know we're backtracking. Sorry, guys. Backtracking to what we were talking about in the NBA, and Lou Williams from the Clippers going to an Atlanta strip club and getting put in a 10-day quarantine. So DannyMiami asked, I wonder if SmallWorld Danny knows where the strip club is.
I do in fact know where it is located.
That's hilarious. See, there you go. This is podcasting at its best, folks.
Yes.
We have inside information.
boy.
We also made a phone call to Carlos,
In
who
Orlando.
used to work at Disney,
To try to
to find out the NBA Snitch hotline at Disney, so we can call it live.
That's great. That's
Dude, this is
excellent
amazing.
news.
It was.
This is the type of research no one else is doing.
That's
This
right.
this is what makes Game On special.
You
You
got
see
it, bro.
Donnie right here. You can't see his somewhat ugly face, but I mean,
No.
this man is like working hard to dig up the news people want to know. Like
Yeah,
this
you're
is this man is for the people.
I am for the people. I'm like
Our
that
fearless
lawyer
leader.
commercial on TV. You're a lawyer for the people.
Right.
But
So what's the scoop on this strip club, man?
I have no information other than where it's located. I've passed it on the way to Atlanta United games, oddly enough. It's a weird part of town, but
How old do you have to be to get in?
I don't know, but I'm probably not old enough.
Oh.
Whatever that age is.
we discussed that too, because Bryce was like, he's only like
18.
18. He's not able to get into a strip club, and I said, I don't think he's 18, but I still don't think he's
I'm 19. Yeah.
See, we were close.
Still
Sure.
not 21, man. But
No.
dang.
So, Danny, welcome to the show. Danny, as you know from the distant past, has been on our podcast as SmallWorld Soccer.
Indeed.
He is happy to join us tonight for one of our topics that we're going to be discussing as far as the MLS is back tournament. But we will get to that in a little bit. I thank you for coming in. I was just on the tail end of my NHL spiel, and we will continue that.
Has anybody heard about the NBA real quick? NBA, the push to cheer button. Anybody heard of that shit?
What?
No. What on earth is that?
Okay, hold on.
Jesus.
See, and this is the research that is done, and Danny's right. And if unfortunately you can't see our call right now because Danny's name is in fact Fanny because he must have mistyped it.
Is it
So-
really?
It shows Fanny, Fanny.
Hold on, another news
That's
in around the
wonderful.
NBA. I got another one for you, because okay. So I'll tell you the news that I was trying to get to you guys to hear, which is that apparently there's a push notification prompt that you can use to get a cheer sound. Fans tap on their team's logo and fill the meter to the top until a spinning basketball animation appears. Apparently, there's going to be like an interactive cheering between the people
my.
watching. And yes,
See, that's fun though.
on other news, NBA teams are slowly eliminating all-female dance squads because dancers say that's sexist. Welcome to 2020, and that's your NBA news around the globe.
Well, they have a connection with Lou Williams now, so they're okay. Like they
There you go.
they got a new play. He'll be fine.
He's good to go. He's good to go. But now, do I have permission from the court to continue talking about NHL?
Before you do, one last thing.
Son of a
I just gotta say
Apparently
that
not. Bryce
I
trying to
got-
take this whole thing over.
I just gotta say this: an all-female dance team might be sexist, but an all-male dance team is just a disappointment. And back to you, Donnie.
I mean,
To us, it is.
hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Not to Bryce.
that's
Get fucked.
because he's a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. Jesus, I didn't know they had fans. But anyway,
I didn't know that existed. I literally. What's a blue jacket?
apparently it was from the Civil War because the place that they play at, Nationwide Arena, was built on location where they used to make the jackets for the North in the Civil War.
Oh,
For
that's
their-
actually relatively cool.
It is actually. No, I mean it's a great story.
Relatively cool.
I mean it's better than being built on a fucking strip club ruins.
This is true.
I
Hey,
mean-
it's not ruined though. It's clearly in good standing.
Clearly there.
Yeah. All right,
Hey,
Donnie.
before we go to NHL, Danny, can you give me a score update on the Sporting KC game right now?
I have not been watching it. I've been grinding out some FIFA matches, but I will find out. Let's
Keep on with your
open up
story.
our
Keep on with your story, Donnie.
our handy dandy
give me
foot
that
mob.
update when you can.
It's 0-0, 11th minute.
All right, cool.
There you
All
go.
right, Donnie,
Just
take
throw
it
up
away.
God, you guys want
The
to fucking
host-
Google?
The host of the show is now allowed to talk. So back to where we were with the NHL and their playoff format. We discussed the Eastern Conference matchups. Now on the Western Conference side, you have Nashville and Arizona in a 5-game series, Winnipeg and Calgary, which I think is going to be one of the better series in the playoffs. Hard-fought Western Canadian battle. I also like the Chicago Edmonton series where I have my upset special, and you'll also hear about that on the YouTube show What the Puck with me, Jeff, and Drew. And last but not least, the last matchup I believe is I'm drawing a blank.
Is it
Timeout.
Devils aren't in it?
I Said Western Conference, Bryce.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Western
Oh,
Conference.
hold on. I'm going to cut all that. And the last matchup is the Canucks and the Wild. So you got Vancouver Canucks and the Minnesota Wild, which toss up for me. But I'm just excited that we're going to get a possible 52 games in 10 days of hockey. Just back to back. It was so much fun watching these exhibition games where you can watch a game at noon, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, and 10:30. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm excited for the playoffs to start on Saturday. It's been cool because you have certain players. There's a couple players on Toronto, but one of the better ones, their backup goalie, Casimir Kaskiusko. I believe that's how you say his last name. It's kind of Finnish and kind of hard. He's been doing a vlog of what these guys go through every day in the bubble. And it's actually a lot of fun to see because, and this is only on the Toronto side, but so this guy checked into his room. He put the vlog on. Everybody on the teams get a duffel bag. Inside this duffel bag, because they cannot share between players, they're full of supplements. So all kinds of supplements for these guys, snacks to eat healthy food. Of course, this particular player is a vegan, so all his stuff was kind of vegan. They have all kinds of shirts, different, track suits, everything with their logo on it, everything. They're just dressed to kill right now. And they have their team masks. I mean, everything is cool. And the crazy thing was, so a lot of these players, they have Twitch accounts and they stream, which is funny. So you see a lot of them, this guy bought his Xbox, and the hotels are where they're staying have separate servers for players to game on while they're there, so they can still continue their Twitch streams and things of that nature. So that was pretty cool. I didn't know they were going to do that. Also, all the floors that they're on, they're in several different hotels. I think one of them in Toronto is called the Royal York, and I think that's where Toronto is staying, which is one of the nicer ones. It's right by Scotiabank Arena, which is very nice in Toronto. Used to be the Air Canada Center. The floors of their hotels are decorated like their team. So like the elevator doors for particularly this guy who's on the Maple Leafs is all maple leafed out. There's all these murals on the wall when you walk around on the floor. It's great. They take the elevator down. They can walk right to the arena, hence why it's called a bubble. They have an I don't want to say scaffolding, but it's like tented walkway from the hotel to the arena. They get halfway, or they can go underneath. They go get tested. They get the thing stuck up their nose. They have to get tested every single day. It sucks. I could just imagine.
Dude, have either of y'all been tested? I got tested the other day. That mess hurts. I did not expect, because it's like, okay, they're gonna stick it like a little brush up your nose, whatever. Like that's not a big deal. But I mean, it was like a freaking toilet brush going up my nose. That was insane. That was actually way more painful than I anticipated. Getting that every day is not something I'm envious of.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do it. They got to do it every single day. They get their meals handed to them. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? I mean, these guys want to play. And it's funny to see the contrasting, attitudes of, you look at NHL players to NBA players. These guys are getting in trouble for ordering Postmates. They got the Snitch hotline. Those guys going to a strip club, and the hockey players are just like, yeah, okay, hey, yeah, great. And they walk, they do their thing, they play their game, and they go home, they eat their supplements, and they stream on Twitch. Like, no one gives a shit. So, I mean, it's kind of refreshing. I'm just happy. Like I said, everything is back. I mean, I'm a big hockey guy, so I'm excited that there's going to be tons of hockey. It sucks for me because Saturday my Rangers play at noon, and I'll be driving down to Tennessee, which is like kind of bittersweet. I'll probably miss the first game, but I'll probably listen to it on the radio and get yelled at by my wife. That's fine. But it's awesome to have back, and it's something we haven't had. I mean, you think about it, March 14th, I believe, was the last NHL game, and I also think the last NBA game. So these guys have been off for longer than what a regular off season would normally be.
It's ridiculous.
They haven't played, and they look in rare form, man. I mean, yesterday Brian Boyle for the Panthers. He got into a fight first, a bubble hockey fight, as I like to call it. That was a lot of fun to see. I mean, yeah, that just shows me. I mean, he fought Mikhail Sergachev from Tampa Bay. It was a decent fight. I mean, whatever. But I've asked this on other episodes of what people thought about this. Like, what are the protections that they have? I mean, they're exchanging. I'm sure there's bodily fluids exchanged in a fight, regardless of what you want to think. So, I mean, yeah, they're getting tested every day, but, you know, that's still a precaution, I guess. You have to take that. He dropped the gloves, no problem, threw about 6-8 good punches, laughed about it, skated to the penalty box, sat down, and that was it. His team was losing 4-0. Brian Boyle was like, I'm going to drop the gloves. They lost 5-0. Good job, Florida.
Nice. Always.
That's Danny and his Florida teams.
Always, man. Gotta love it. Love it. Dolphins, Marlins, Panthers, Heat. Let's go.
So speaking of Florida and speaking of Miami and why Florida messes literally everything up.
Everything.
Danny, you must be really like upset that you even share a border with that state.
Oh, it's one of the worst parts of Georgia, to be honest. And literally, like, the state gets worse the farther down you go. Like, South Georgia next to the border is literally just like one big swamp. Like, it's ugly. No one likes
like Florida,
it there.
huh?
Yeah, it's literally
Valdosta.
Like, Florida just bled over into Georgia for about like 50 miles. But then it kind of redeems itself in the north. So
just so y'all know, he's right. He's 100% right. And on top of that, you know, the truth is that Florida's divided not in half, but it's divided into two parts. Everything above South Florida, which is Florida, and then you have everything Florida, and then you got Florida down by
that's right.
Which is 100% where I'm from. I'm from the part where people say Florida.
Danny's Leon Gonzalez came out.
I'm the 30. I'm the 305, man. I'm from where, like, I used to live about 12 minutes, including red lights from where Leon Gonzalez was sent his ass back.
See, I call bullshit. You are Leon Gonzalez. I
Anyway,
told you last week.
What's that stuff about the Florida players now? The Marlins, I believe. Marlins.
Yeah, they're good.
Here we fucking
go.
And
again, Danny, I'm going to blame the strip clubs in Atlanta for this one.
Here we go.
So, apparently, Miami on July 22nd played a exhibition game against the Braves, I believe.
Okay.
In Atlanta. They went out after, like a bunch of idiots. And I'm pretty sure we know where they went. 17 players on the Miami Marlins tested positive for the coronavirus.
I blame Lola, and you know where you are, Lola.
It's not funny, but it is funny at the same time because they're being complete idiots.
Dude, how many of them got this?
17.
17.
Isn't that like 3 baseball teams worth of players? What the fuck?
I mean, no, it's not. It's not 7. It's not. Yeah.
Leave it up to the Marlins to have more players catch COVID than actual players on the roster. Like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
So then they didn't know, obviously, and they played a series against Philadelphia, and then they decided to say, "Oh yeah, by the way, 17 players on the team tested positive for the coronavirus." Oh, thanks. So now today, two staff members for the Phillies tested positive. So they've canceled all the Marlins games this weekend. They've canceled all the Phillies games this weekend. So Philly-Toronto series is canceled. I believe the Marlins and Baltimore series is canceled. No one's missing that. But, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And, the question is the season in jeopardy at this point?
Yes, of course.
Because now you're looking at – they were only playing 60 games to begin with. So now you're going to have – they're not going to make up these games. There's no way.
This is the makeup. It's like you don't make it the day of the test. You tell the teacher, I want to do a makeup test, and then you walk out on the makeup test again. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's all Miami's fault.
And yeah, I mean, just Florida continues to disappoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miami as a team is the essence of Florida, man. Literally, that's
exactly.
That's the entirety of what it is. And the interesting thing is, obviously, this is bad. We don't want this, but it kind of proves to us why the bubble is so important. Like, because a lot of people have kind of said, well, why is the bubble a thing? Why do we need it? Is it really that important? And this shows you exactly why, because it's really one team that's caused all of this mayhem to start. and now it's affecting the Phillies. Now it's affecting these other teams that have cases that didn't before. It's literally all coming from the Marlins because they're terrible at everything. But like literally, it's this one team that messed up, and it's causing the whole bubble to literally burst. So it is an interesting view into how important that bubble really is for all these leagues.
Yeah. I mean, they should have listened to. No, go ahead, Bryce.
I'll say if this ruins the MLS's backspin, I'm gonna be pissed.
Can you imagine if the Marlins cause all sports to shut down again?
Oh my god, I would be so.
The Marlins are single-handedly the second wave of coronavirus.
I don't think the first wave ever left, but yeah, they're headed that way. And I mean,
the STDs of MLB, bro.
I still think the MLB should have listened to the mayor of Arizona when he said, "Listen, we can host all the games here. We have a bubble. Let's do it here." And of course, Manfred, that guy's a fucking moron. He's like, "No, we're gonna do it this way." Guy's a clown, bro. Guy is a clown.
There's just no Atlanta strip clubs in Arizona, so fuck that. They're not gonna go there. They're just not gonna go there.
But it's just it's unbelievable. And you look at, so I go back to the NHL and I look at what they're doing. So far since the beginning of phase 2, I think, or the end of phase 2, I think they said only 3 people within organizations, including players and personnel, have gotten COVID, and it's been neutralized, and it's been fine ever since. Why can't, and I was watching Sportsnet today, I follow Elliot Friedman and all these guys, Chris Johnston. Why can't they do that? I don't understand how this is so hard. So again, going back to the NHL, so they play a period. While they're playing, there is a team inside the locker room sanitizing the whole locker room. When they go back into the locker room sanitized. When they're in the locker room, there is a team sanitizing the benches, on the benches with masks. And they're not hazmat suits, but they're like what I wore when my son was born. It's like this cloth-looking blue thing. And I don't know what to call it. It's not a hazmat suit. Yeah, no, but it's different than scrubs. It's like it's weird looking. Maybe because it's Canadian. I don't know. But
blame Canada.
Yeah, but they know what they're doing. They're getting this right. They're understanding what to happen. And everyone was shitting on the MLS at the beginning. You had 2 teams drop out. You had all that. But they're getting it right now. And hopefully the NBA gets it right and stops this Postmates bullshit, strip club excursions and all that. But, I mean, they're getting it right. And baseball just always thinks, hey, we're better than everyone. We're America's pastime. We're going to do it our way. Well, here's your way. Thanks, Florida.
No.
Thanks for fucking it up. And this is what happens.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're allowing a Miami team to be part of your league during Corona. It's not going to go well. You got to,
I'll add on to that whole thing. I was listening to BSI, the podcast. Shout out to them. They're a great soccer podcast. They had Johnny Bornstein on, and he was saying, like, he's scared at this, but he's not scared at the same time about this whole COVID thing in the bubble, because he's saying, well, he plays for Chicago, and they share a floor and I think a locker room with 2 other teams, because I don't know, I forget how many teams are in the tournament, but like he's saying it's also sketchy at the same time, which it should be. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's certain ways to do things, and you really need. And I was listening today to a couple guys on ESPN as well, and they're like, the NFL should take notes right now and figure out something to play in a bubble. This shit works. When you have teams that travel, like they're doing in baseball, and traveling to other cities and being allowed to do shit outside in the city and not really having any regulation, this is the shit that happens. And it just further enforces the fact that you just have to follow proper procedure. And the NFL is another one of those leagues where I don't really have faith in it, because, they're just one of them that think, our shit doesn't stink. We're going to do what we want. And you just can't do that. You have to follow. You look at the NHL, you look at MLS, you sort of look at NBA, and you see these things are working. It's working. You're playing in a bubble. It doesn't take that much. And I feel that you have these teams in the NHL in Toronto and Edmonton. They pick Canadian cities, and I was watching Sportsnet today, and they shit all over the United States, man. And you know what? I sort of don't blame them, man. They were originally, the hub cities were supposed to be Toronto and Las Vegas. Las Vegas got hit kind of hard, and they backed out and moved that shit to Edmonton because Canada's got their crap under control, man. Mm. And they were like, yeah, you know, I'm happy they moved it to Canada and not our crazy neighbors down below. And I couldn't help but laugh. This is the first time where the United States, and I'm not getting into this, but we're shut off from everybody. Our borders with Canada is closed. We can't go overseas. I'd be shocked to shit if Mexico doesn't say, you know what? Game over. But that's all I'm going to get into politics. All I'm saying is they need to reevaluate how they do things. This is, and I plead with the NFL. I really want to see an NFL season. I really want to see a college football season. I think what college is going to be doing is great, where they're just doing conference games only. They have a way. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that. Now, all the Notre Dame fans are so excited that you're going to go. We're in the ACC. We're in the ACC. You guys didn't pick a conference for 120 fucking years. All of a sudden, you guys are excited about it.
Well, and now they're about to play against remotely decent opposition, and that's honestly generous for the ACC. But and they're about to go like 500 as far as win percentage.
No, they won't. They won't. Sorry,
dude, you think they're gonna beat Clemson?
Danny, listen to me. They'll have one or two losses. ACC
my word.
Listen to me. I'm being dead serious. If you think
we're talking about Notre Dame here. I mean, I know. I understand that the ACC is not exactly the cream of the college football crop. It's really almost at the Pac-12 level, and I understand that. This is not the SEC or even the Big 12 or even the Big 10 we're talking about.
Donnie,
that being said,
pass me the popcorn. Thanks.
It literally doesn't matter what conference they're in. If it's a Power 5 conference, I don't see them winning any more than at the most 8 games. And I mean, I say that because you look at the history of Notre Dame and who they play and who they lose to every year, especially in the second half of the season, because this is what happens every year. They hype themselves up. They win 5-6 games in a row, maybe beat a couple top 25 teams. And then when it comes to the last 3 or 4 games, they choke multiple times. And they have not shown any ability as an organization, as a program, to win games when it matters. So maybe they string 4 or 5 conference wins together, but they play Clemson. They even play Florida State, heck, Virginia Tech, anybody remotely good, anybody that's not Pitt or Georgia Tech. And they're going to struggle in the second half of the season. They really are. And I don't see them going anywhere close to a conference championship game because you have to win games in the second half of the season, and they're not going to do that.
I mean, I know Bryce is laughing right now.
Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
Go for it.
Just give me
that's
2 minutes.
Rebuttal time. I love it.
Donnie talked about exhibition hockey.
Listen,
you can talk about college football.
Danny, I love you, man. But every team that you named, the Florida State, the Virginia Tech, we've beaten them teams for the past 3 years. We've beaten every one of them teams. We've beaten Boston College. They're on our schedule. We beat Syracuse. We've beaten every one of these teams handily. I don't see Notre Dame having any problem. I don't see them having any problem going only 2 losses this season. Yes, I don't think they're going to beat Clemson. I think they're going to get steamrolled by Clemson. But I do not see them only going 500. I don't see
here's the problem, though. I mean, I understand that they've having one-off wins against a Syracuse or a Boston College, which even those aren't necessarily upper-tier ACC teams. Maybe Syracuse is. But, I mean, even saying that, I mean, they beat Boston College after 2 weeks of, like, Army and Colgate or whoever the heck they play up there. Like, they have, like, 4 or 5 Power 5 conference, and maybe 6 or 7. I mean, they don't really play a season-long schedule like that where every week after week, they're playing a Power 5 team with that level of size. I don't really think that their team is used to dealing with the level of size, the level of depth that a Power 5 team brings week in, week out. They don't have that mentality because they've never had to. They are able to gear up for 1 or maybe 2 big games. they're going to have to play a full season of ACC football. And even though it's not SEC, it's not Big 12, it's still Power 5 football. There's still a recruiting cost level that's brought to an ACC school that you don't get at a lot of the lower league. It might as well be, but the lower tier teams that they play when they're not playing a Syracuse or a Florida State or somebody like that. So you've got to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah,
it's a different season.
But here's the thing, also. Now because I'm not going to try to drag this on college football because it's not what this podcast is about. This episode's about. But if you think about it, Notre Dame isn't technically in the ACC conference in football, but since they're in the ACC conference in most of their other sports in Notre Dame, they are required by contract to have at least 6 ACC games in their schedule, which is what they have. So they have ACC experience. They've had ACC experience for the past 3 years. And have they beaten a lot of those teams? Yes, they have.
They've also picked and chosen which teams they play.
Thank you.
I mean, they play significantly worse ACC teams every single year. And you look at the schedule and you can't deny that. I mean, they're purposely playing the lowest of the low in a low conference. So, I mean, you're right. They've played a lot of these teams and they've beaten them. But the other half of the league that's actually fairly decent, that's going to give them a challenge, they're going to struggle against that week on week on week. And honestly, we don't know. We can sit here and throw conjecture out until we actually see it. It's going to be a challenge that we've never seen before for Notre Dame. But personally, I don't know that they're up for it. Given the challenges, the true challenges that they faced in the past, I have no confidence in Notre Dame being able to handle a season-long challenge like this. But we'll see. It's
putting it back down.
Money.
It's all to play for.
It's
money.
It's all to play for in the season. We'll see.
Gambling on it.
Down between Danny and I. I'm ending it right here. Notre Dame will have a one-loss season, and their loss is coming from Clemson, and that's it. And they will make the championship. They will make the ACC championship. We're done with that conversation. Donnie's taking it away. Let's go to the next one.
$50. $50.
Yeah, $50.
$50
right now.
$50 or you wasted our time.
I'll put $10 on the line. I'll put $10.
$10.
$10, bro. You know what? Danny won the argument.
That
That's
was
it.
a hard-fought argument. Come on.
Yeah,
now.
you hard fought that shit. You had, bro, Bryce. I was believing in you for a second, bro.
No, I'm putting $10 because you know what? I don't have that much money to be betting on, but I'll put $10.
I think I know. No.
I think that much money to blow.
I think I know. Why it's $10. I think I know why it's $10 because you almost lost to Virginia last year in the game that you played.
What are you talking about?
You can't play below the Mason-Dixon line. We know that. Any team below the Mason-Dixon.
Virginia.
Was it Virginia Tech then? I don't know. I can care less about Notre Dame football.
We almost got beat by Virginia Tech. I was at the Virginia game, and we slaughtered them.
Okay. Well, congrats.
No, we almost lost. Okay. We
Yeah,
almost lost.
I love how that's a game he remembers. He's like, yeah, we killed the Virginia Cavaliers. That was a great day in Notre Dame history.
Hey, remember when you guys really put a beating on Wake Forest too?
Oh, man. Glory days.
That was a red penny night.
Let me tell you, Penn High School here can beat Wake Forest and Duke in football. No,
that was a red penny night, bro.
Look. There's nothing. Look, we all know Notre Dame is always going to have a good program. However, and I was going to talk more MLB, but we went off on a fucking tangent. And it was great. That was fantastic.
I got to watch $10 worth of gambling.
but
Danny, that was a good fight right there, buddy. Now
it really was, bro.
That was good. I give the win. I give the win to Fanny.
I mean,
oh man,
only because Bryce is a Notre Dame fan, and I didn't know that, so now he's in trouble. But
yeah, he's kicked off. He's gone.
When you look at Notre Dame and what they've done the last couple of years, every time they're like the bridesmaid, never the bride type of thing, where they'll play great in the season because you're playing Boston College and Navy and Duke and Wake Forest and Syracuse and teams that literally mean nothing.
$10.
But then when you play a team, then when Notre Dame plays a team like Georgia, or they're going to play Clemson this year, and you've said it as a Notre Dame fan, they're going to get killed. There are delusional Notre Dame fans. I don't care. Hit me up, make fun of me, yell at me. I don't care. I live in South Bend. I'll give you my address. They are the quintessential just flops half the time you watch them. And there's nothing against them. It's just what they've not built anything to play for. They play these teams. They're independent. They get to pick their schedule. Yeah, we're going to play the ACC. Do me a favor. When that ACC contract is up, tell the Notre Dame that you want to play the SEC and see what happens to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Even the Big Ten. The Big Ten would make a lot more sense. Play Michigan. Play Michigan State. Play teams in your area. That would be fun.
They played them for so many years. We know they could beat them.
Not the last 5.
What are you talking about?
Didn't they lose to Michigan this year? This past year?
They lost to Michigan this last year.
Like,
but
handedly.
And Michigan wasn't even – Michigan struggled.
Yeah, Michigan's another team that I have yuck. That's all I have to say. I'd actually rather.
I don't even want to fucking talk about them bastards. Fuck them.
I'd rather. I'm a Gator. I'm a Gator through and through.
Florida. Just fuck Michigan. I ain't fucking talking about them.
I'm just excited for the prospect. They say that Florida and Notre Dame are going to do a home and home. Oh, I will be at that game, and I will scream at every Notre Dame fan in that tailgate if we're allowed to even go. Because
Donnie will go over there and give them all COVID.
No, I would never. If I'm sick, I'm staying home. But yeah, great segue into college football. By the way, that was awesome. Love to see the passion, Danny. I didn't even know you had it in you. I didn't know you were a college football guy.
You know, it's hard not to be in the South. You kind of get wrapped up in it, whether it's your main sport or not. And it's funny because I obviously Georgia and Georgia Tech is kind of the big rivalry here in our state, and everybody has a side except for me. I literally don't care because I haven't lived here really long enough to really care too much. And I'm obviously in college, but the school I go to doesn't have a football team. So I literally just am completely neutral to everything and have a reason to hate everybody. So pretty much no matter who you care about, I probably don't like you. So that's basically where I stand with college football. But it's fun. I love that because like I never get mad. Like I'm always happy to see somebody lose. It's pretty awesome. So like whoever wins, I'm like, yep, I hate them.
This guy is legit.
And it's unfortunate that he lives where his school is in Nashville is the only football there is Vanderbilt, and they're
it's terrible. No, I can't claim
awful.
them.
They're
trash.
They can't even fill half their stadium, bro.
No, of course not. Because who would go to that? It's awful. Like it's terrible.
And they used to be a pretty good football team too.
They used to.
Yeah, they had some good years. Yeah.
I remember them beating the Gators. I want to say it's going on 10, maybe 15 years ago, but they were all right back in the day. I don't remember exactly, but they were all right. But so I kind of want to just finish on one more thing for baseball, and then we'll let Danny and Bryce take over a little bit with some MLS. MLS's back tournament. But one of the big things in baseball this week, besides Miami screwing everything up. So as you all know, the Houston Astros were accused of cheating in 2017 and years after. The baseball gods were with us when they did the schedule, and they had the Dodgers play the Astros this week. Joe Kelly, who, if you've ever seen his famous Instagram video, I think, or Twitter, where he threw the changeup through his front window in his house on accident, decided he was going to throw a Carlos Correa. He was kind of accurate there. So he hit Carlos Correa. He threw at Bregman. He missed, or he walked him. I don't remember if he hit him, but I know he hit Carlos Correa. And Manfred, Mr. Clown, I don't understand how he's still the commissioner. So you have a team that cheats blatantly and admits it, apologizes, and then goes back. Carlos Correa talks all this shit, tells players, if you don't know what's going on, shut the fuck up and shut your mouth and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you got hit with a fastball. Good for you, because you're an idiot and a cheater. They suspended Joe Kelly for 8 games in a 60-game season for hitting this guy, but they didn't suspend one Houston Astro that was involved in cheating at all. I don't agree with it. I don't think it makes sense. I I am totally. I'm completely against it. I cannot stand baseball's commissioner, Rob Manfred. I think he's a jerk off. This guy shouldn't be doing anything with baseball. He's ruined the game. He says he's trying to make it faster, by in turn, he's just taking away strategy from it. Mandatory 3 batters for a relief pitcher. That just kills the strategy of it when you're looking at lefty specialists. And he's just doing a lot of things to kill the game of baseball. And understand they're trying to appeal to a younger audience. They're trying to appeal to, this generation. But you know what? There's only so much you can do to change baseball. And I mean, let's think of it this way. If you're looking at this generation and you're looking at baseball needed a villain. Yeah, it's been the Yankees in the past, and because they're so good and they spend a lot of money and they, whatever the case may be. But they needed a villain. And finally, again, the baseball gods given that to us with the Houston Astros, where you knew this was going to happen. In my eyes, I'm very controversial when it comes to this. If you want viewers in this day and age and in this country, if you want viewers, controversy and a villain is what you need. And the Houston Astros were that. And to do what he did and suspend Joe Kelly for that, I think is just an abomination. I think is the dumbest shit he could have did. Let it go. It was done. They had words after. He made fun of him. He said as he was walking away, you can't hit if you don't cheat. There was a lot of shit said. The bench is cleared. No punches were thrown. It was great viewing, in my opinion, because you're rooting against the Astros. Everyone, I think even Astros fans are rooting against the Astros, because when Carlos Correa got hit, they played a clapping sound in the home ballpark. That's fucking hilarious.
Oh god, that's
And
They're
you know what?
even- Their home
Sorry,
team.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
so stupid.
No, but I was just saying, and it's funny because it's just beginning of the season. This is going to be every fucking game for these bitches this season. Them getting beamed by balls. I
think it depends on who they. I think it depends on who they play, though, because the Dodgers are who they cheat. The Dodgers are who they cheated to, though. It's the reason why they lost the World Series in 2017 was because they cheated against the Dodgers. The Dodgers have every right, and the Yankees have every right. Now, the Yankees won't be. Well, they will be playing them, but no, they won't. They will not be playing them unless it's in the playoffs. Because the way the structure is, they play their division and then the opposite league division. But those are really the only 2 teams that have a right in my eyes. Now, yeah, baseball in general has the right to be mad for cheating. It's inexcusable this day and age. It's inexcusable. Now, I understand stealing signs, and that's all part of the strategy of the game. But when you use electronics to cheat, and you have a whole team that's sitting there with monitors in the dugout and in the walkthrough in the tunnel, and you're trying to cheat by using technology, that's a problem. If you got a guy on second base and he's stealing the catcher's signs, then the catcher needs to fucking do his job better. But if you're using technology to do it, that's inexcusable, man. And they deserve everything that they get. Now, I don't think he needed to be suspended, and I disagree with it. And I think Rob Manfred is a real jerk off for that. And, I mean, that's all I'm going to say on that. I mean, baseball so far has been interesting to watch. I saw my first baseball argument between an umpire and a coach, and it was funny because they ran out and then put their masks on really quick and started arguing through the masks. So that was funny to see. There's a lot going on, and I'll be interested to see if the season continues. Because now you're going to have teams that have played significantly less games than the 60. So how do you go about that in the standings? How do you handle that? Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. So, yeah, I mean, that's it for baseball. We're going to touch more, obviously, as this story progresses and as the season progresses. But we bought Danny on, a.k.a. Fanny. I'm sorry, that's your new nickname now because I'm looking right at it. And we brought Bryce on. There are big MLS guys, and obviously the MLS tournament and the MLS is back tournament is in full gear. I feel terrible for Danny and his Atlanta United team.
I feel terrible for Sporting.
I'm sure we'll get to that, but I'm gonna let you guys take that away, and me and Danny will chime in as we can. So, what's going on in the world of MLS, boys?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Actively right now, Bryce's beloved Sporting Kansas City is losing 3-0 in the first half. So Philadelphia Union has just absolutely. What's happened is Sporting has pulled a Notre Dame. So
fuck off.
That's really what we've just seen occur, and that's actually going on as we're recording.
Fucking stop talking.
But no, in all seriousness, that's not good for Sporting. But I really can't talk given that Atlanta scored an entire 0 goals in 3 games and lost all 3 of those matches. We fired our coach, and so our star player is hurt, our coach is gone, and we absolutely made a mockery of ourselves in MLS's back. So really dire straits for Atlanta. It's been a lot of transfer rumors, a lot of coaching rumors, obviously, now that we have an open position. But none of it really seems like it's a long-term solution right now. For the first time in Atlanta's history, in its young history, it feels like the front office doesn't have much of a direction. And I say that because this entire team this year was tooled around what Frank de Boer wanted to do. And Frank de Boer did not really fit our system. When Atlanta first came on the scene and we were this kind of swashbuckling attacking team under Tata Martino, we had this kind of South American flair, this attacking flair, and we didn't care about giving up 3 goals a game when we scored 4. That was the type of football that we wanted to play, the type of soccer we wanted to play. And so when we switched to Frank, we kind of got this Dutch total football system where you see a lot of possession and a lot of kind of precise passing and working the ball up. And you'd rather win 1-0 than win 4-3 in Frank de Boer's eyes. And it just didn't fit our personnel. So what Atlanta did was they switched their personnel. We lost a lot of fan favorites that we really loved, but it was all kind of thrown under this umbrella of we're switching the team for what our manager wants. And we're going to actually follow what he wants this squad to look like. And now he's gone because he's failed us miserably. So it's this kind of weird transition point where for the rest of the season, we're stuck with a team that really isn't our style, with a manager who it was his style. He's gone now. So we kind of have this weird rock and a hard place situation where we don't really want to have another Frank de Boer because obviously his system doesn't work for us, but that's the system that our personnel is based around. So it's really, it's not a good time. We'll work our way out of it, and we still have the talent to make something of the season for sure. I still see us making the playoffs, but it's definitely something that we're gonna have to fix sooner rather than later.
Wow, the bars, son, dropping bars, son.
Yeah.
Shit. So it sounds to me like Atlanta's doing their best their best impersonation of a Miami team. That's really what
they are.
It's not good.
The Florida swampland has moved farther up, which is not good for anyone. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, it is. It's kind of like a Miami team right now, in the worst way possible.
When you said the office, when you said the office doesn't have a direction, I was like, oof, that's a sentence I've heard all my life.
Yeah, and that's never happened until this point in Atlanta. Carlos Bocanegra, and Darren Eales, and everybody at the head of the club has done an excellent job of signing people and going about their business with intention. This is the first time that it feels like I can't confidently say that as a supporter. So it's a little bit disappointing. Obviously that moment comes in any franchise's history. But given kind of how spoiled we were with how positive all our steps had been up to now, it is pretty frustrating to see. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I want any of those front office people to leave. I still think they're good pieces. But they've kind of got to get their act together now and go back to what they were doing well. So we'll see if that happens and how long it takes for that to happen. But until then, we might not see the Atlanta team that we're used to.
So, I mean, now with your team that you actually, you support being out of the tournament, I mean, do you have anyone that you'll now follow? I mean,
whoever's playing Orlando, whoever is playing against Orlando, I literally don't care who it is.
Well,
I hate Orlando's guts.
Oh, Carlos is upset with you for that comment.
Good. He should be. I don't care. That's supporting Orlando is worse than supporting Notre Dame. It really is, and that's saying something. Orlando is the worst team. I mean, there's a lot of teams that I hate, and if Nashville were in, because obviously I go to school in Nashville. Nashville's kind of like my second home. The Preds are my NHL team, even though I have no idea anything about hockey. I am a mild Preds supporter. But if Nashville SC were in the tournament, I'd support them. They were stupid and got a bunch of COVID cases, so they weren't even in this at all. Although they still probably did better than Atlanta, to be fair. It was a better performance from Nashville than Atlanta. But no, in all seriousness, I was really feeling the Whitecaps. I don't know if for those who don't know, Vancouver Whitecaps are by far the worst team as far as skill level in the entire league, and it's not even close. They're horrible. Maybe Cincinnati is there with them, but no one else. And so they actually made it into the playoffs by some crazy miracle. Ended up playing Sporting Kansas City, funnily enough, and nearly beat them in a penalty shootout. The great story was their goalie was their third-string keeper and the only keeper on the roster. The other two had to leave. One of them had like an injury, and the other one had to go home and leave the bubble for a family emergency. So it was literally this like 21-year-old dude who had never played any kind of like high-level soccer at all, just sitting on the Whitecaps bench, and they're like, guess we got to play this, man. And he made like 8 saves and actually shots. Like led them to penalty kicks. It was an awesome story. And then he kind of didn't do very well in the shootout, and they lost. But but no, that was a cool story. They're out now. So basically, anybody I relatively care about is gone. So I don't know. I do from a neutral perspective and a just a lover of the game. LAFC plays the purest soccer that MLS has. It's the closest we have to a real soccer team that plays soccer the right way, in my opinion. So as much as I am inclined to cheer against them, given how good they are, given that they're a huge threat to Atlanta generally, it's probably not going to matter this year because we're going to be trash. And LAFC plays the best soccer. I'll probably go with them. And they are playing Orlando as an added bonus. So I'll go with LAFC.
There you go.
Update alert. Score alert. Alan Polito just scored. It is halftime 3-1. We're not out of this yet, boys. And while we're talking about that, shut the fuck up, boys. While we're talking about that. So I think that goalkeeper for Vancouver, I think is like Thomas Hassall or something like that. I think it's his name. Yeah, but it was like, there was 36 shots. He saved 8 of them, took him to PKs, and then just absolutely just got demolished in PKs. But here's the other thing I really want to point out. Tim Melia, hands down, and I mean, I know I'm not trying to be biased, but hands down, I think Tim Melia is one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper in the MLS.
He's one of the most underrated, if nothing else.
But here's the thing. Do you think, I was going through, I was following MLS on Instagram on the PK highlights, and people were saying that he was coming off the line too fast. But here's the thing. You can move one foot before the ball is kicked. Am I right?
You are correct. And as a soccer referee myself, I consider myself a connoisseur in the – no, I'm kidding. But I know the laws of the game pretty well. And so the rule is, yes, that you can have one foot on the line. And for those who aren't necessarily big soccer people who don't understand, like, why is that even a rule? Effectively because it's kind of this one-on-one deal, obviously a penalty. The goalkeeper moving ahead cuts down the angle, right, that the shooter can use to score. So the idea is if the keeper can just jump out before the shooter takes his shot, then obviously you have an advantage for the goalkeeper that shouldn't be there. So the rule is that the goalkeeper has to have at least 1 foot planted on the goal line at the time of the shot, at the time that the shooting player the ball comes off his foot effectively. But you're judging that in real time as a referee. So it gets to be this really messy scenario where if you're going to call that to the T every single time, it's going to be carnage, because you're going to have to, what happens is if the player misses and the goalkeeper saves it and he came off his line about a nanosecond early and you decide that you're going to flag that, well, then the problem is you have to retake the kick. And that's probably going to happen another two. This has happened before in MLS where there had to be a retake 3 separate times because the referee decided that the keeper came off his line 3 times in a row. So, I mean, you put yourself in this situation that you really don't want to be in as a referee. There's enough that you have to cover and to be mindful of and to be watching at one time. That's not the thing that – it's like calling somebody for a foul throw-in. Like, it's a rule, but if you're going to be super stringent on that, you're missing something else. That's not the thing that you want to be focused on in that moment. So that's something that fans like to look back at the tape and say, oh, look, he did this. But no referee, unless it's something egregious, really should be taking that into account first over other things that they're focusing on, and something so important as a penalty shootout. That's my personal opinion and my experience.
Do you think he was moved off the line too early?
I mean, yes and no. Was he off the line early? Yes. I mean, by margins of very, very small proportion. And on a couple of those shots, not necessarily all of them, but a couple of them, if you want to slow it down and look at a slow-mo video and say, yes, his foot is off the line before the ball is released from the player's leg. Yes. But I mean, it's so negligible that you're not even going to see that in real time. And it's not something that VAR can determine is a clear and obvious error. So is his foot off the line in a couple of cases? Yes. Was there an error in refereeing? No.
Yeah, that's why I just want to know about that. But I totally agree with you. There's a couple shots, but yeah, I think Tamelia, one of the best goalkeepers in MLS. I mean, tonight's not his best night, but hopefully, Alan Pulido on the front line can get something going. That was a big goal, low key. That was a very big goal going in the second half.
Yeah, a lot of momentum comes from just having a goal, something to kind of at least have a little bit of momentum, a little bit of positivity. Because once you're down 3-0 going into the halftime team talk, you're there's just this mental place that's really hard to overcome at that point. So even having 1 goal back, it almost means more than the score line because it kind of gives you a better foothold just emotionally, mentally to move forward from. So we'll see if they can turn that around. Personally, I'd say actually the opposing goalkeeper, Andre Blake, is probably my pick for the goalkeeper of the best goalkeeper in the league. Jamaican guy. He's incredible. He comes up with some insane saves that just shouldn't happen. Like you look at his highlights and you're like, that's not possible. That's not a save that a human can make. That's insane. So I think it's going to be very difficult to put 3 goals past him. So we'll see if they can conjure up some magic. But I do know Alan Pulido is a quality player. They have a quality attack. If anybody's going to do it, it's probably Sporting or LAFC.
Yep. And here's the thing, and I know we're getting cut short on time here soon, but
hurry the fuck up.
I know, but this is basically like a 2-0 situation. We all know that the 2-0 lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey and soccer.
I was gonna say in any
it's the most dangerous lead because you get too comfortable and once you get 1 goal, once you get scored on once, you just break down and you shut down and it's over. Then you twice, then you're done. But yeah, hopefully we can get something going. I really am looking forward to watch the second half. But
you guys are hoping a 3-0 lead is the worst lead in soccer.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh man, I have no horse in the race, boys. I mean, I don't MLS. I haven't really. I don't know. For me, I haven't really followed it. I'm more of a European soccer guy and an international soccer guy.
Yeah.
But if I did, I mean, I would have to go, and I don't even know how they're doing, but I would have to go with the Red Bull for some odd reason.
Nice.
Because they're the original New York team. Used to be the Metro Stars. That was a blast.
Yeah. Those were the days, man. That's old school right there.
I mean, I used to go to games, man. When I was living back home in New York, I used to go see the Metro Stars play. Tony Miola was their goalkeeper.
Yeah, and like Tim Howard after that.
Yeah. So they had some good. I mean, they had Thierry Henry come in and play for them for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some solid, like, big name guy. Not that, Tony Miola was a big name guy. He was just a U.S. goalkeeper too. But
in the U.S. he was, though.
He was. But back then, being a goalkeeper in the U.S. equaled me being a podcast in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna while we're at it. So Danny and I, we've been on break because of something, and I actually just want to announce it right now because it's probably going to happen. But we have possibly gotten a former.
Stop being excited and spit it out.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up. We've probably gotten a former Red Bull, New York Red Bull on the pitch. We have contacted BSI the podcast, and they are loaning us Sal Zizzo, now playing for the San Diego Loyal. So he might be coming on the pitch with us here whenever you can get the chance to. But that's something to look forward to, and I wanted to announce that.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, good work, boys.
Yeah, nice recap.
Danny about shit a brick when I told him that.
I think you did too. Don't lie and hide it. You should have seen his face, guys, as he was just saying it. He was rubbing his face, like, super excited. It's like there was a naked girl in front of him or something.
He also, like, developed a stutter. Like, what? He just, like, became like another person for a second there. Like, he just forgot how to talk legitimately. He's like, guys, we got a thing. Yeah, we found. But no, we're psyched about it. And I've been enjoying that. But yeah, no, and I guess I'll ask you, Donnie, because I know you said you've been following European soccer more. Champions League coming back. Yeah, there's it's finally back again. It's been a very long time. Many moons. Have you been following who's left? Do you have any predictions there?
I mean, I have to go. I mean, it's been a while. I got to read up on it because it's been away for so long, and I've been trying to concentrate on, like, hockey and baseball and all this stuff coming back.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, and I mean, you know this, I'm a Juve fan.
Sure.
They've taken some tough losses here of recent. I mean, Ibrahimovic just destroyed them the other day.
Oh, dude, that man is he's destroying everybody. This man is like 38, and he is averaging like a goal and an assist per game. It is incredible.
He's a machine. But I mean,
yeah,
I always got to go with Juve. I mean, obviously they're another team. They're like the bridesmaid, never the bride. They make it, they go all the way, and then they get just trounced. So my heart is always with Juve. So I mean, I'd have to look at what the rest of the draw is like.
By the way, just an honorable mention, that goal that they scored when they went to the final recently against Real, right?
Yes.
That goal, I mean, maybe Danny can take this one away, but that goal where they literally, like, they passed it like 3 or 4 times without touching the floor, and then it was like a bicycle kick into the net.
That's Ronaldo at his best, man. That's
the best
special player.
Dude, that has to be one of the best. That was against Juventus. And the fans for Juventus cheered for Ronaldo, who wasn't playing for Juventus at the time. That's how nasty that goal was. I remember watching that and just saying, end the game now.
That was a Juventus goal.
No.
It was for Madrid. It was for Madrid. It was before he left, and that's very confusing.
It's the year before he left.
Hold on. I'm talking about you're talking about the goal that goes that it's like bicycle kick style that goes over the goalie's head into the back corner perfectly. I'm talking about. I'm call me crazy here, but it was when Real Madrid played Juventus in the UEFA Champions. It was like in the last 3 years. Maybe.
That was the last time. That was when Ronaldo.
But Madrid won that final.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying the goal was scored by
Ronaldo.
No, bro. You guys are tripping. All right, go ahead. Do your thing. But
No. You know what? You're literally right. It was Mario Mandzukic. Mario Mandzukic
there you go.
scored
That's the one.
for Juventus. You are correct.
You know why?
That is absolutely true.
I can't stand Croatia and soccer.
Look up the Mandzukic goal. I think that's one of the most beautiful. Just that you guys were talking about Juve, and like I like Juve as well. I thought that was one of the most beautiful goals ever. Even though I'm a hardcore Real Madrid fan, and I really did enjoy that streak that they were on those 5 years where they won 4 out of 5.
And it's gone. I don't know what happened.
Went to shit. I mean, it is what it is. Like you cycle in and you cycle out. You can only have so many powerhouse years like that.
That's the great thing about international soccer is like that doesn't happen in the U.S. In the U.S., you have these dynasties where like just the Patriots or the Warriors or somebody is just good for so long, especially going back. I mean, you look at like obviously the Lakers or the Celtics way back in the NBA, and there's countless examples of that. They stay good and they just win again and again and again and again. Yeah. And in international soccer, you've really got to keep your guard up because it's literally all over the world. The best teams are going head to head, and there's not another sport that has that. That's really it's something really special about soccer that's incredibly exciting, and it makes for good drama and good stories for sure.
Agreed. So, yeah, man. Around the world news all up in this podcast episode. I have one. I know nobody here watches fights, but something very interesting is happening. Unfortunately, could be the Russian guy that beat Conor McGregor. That's how I'll introduce him, since maybe that's how you guys know him. The Russian guy who beat Conor up and then jumped over the fence and beat the shit out of his corner and started a mob fight. That guy. Unfortunately, his father got COVID and due to those health complications passed away this last month. Very sad times. I was like his mentor, his coach, his everything. And this guy is now he's undefeated. Like I think he's only lost like 1 round in his entire UFC career. This guy is one of the best to ever do it. He's just announced that he's probably got 2 fights left in him. The one just got announced for I think it's October, and it's against Justin Gaethje. I recommend you guys, if you've never watched a UFC fight, you should check that one out. It's a very high class, high skill set type of fight. It's a name you can't even know. You won't even be able to pronounce it yourself. It's Khabib Nurmagomedov. Good luck. And he's fighting Justin Gaethje. That's a really exciting. And then they're also saying they're speculating, and the UFC wants this to happen, that his final fight before he retires at a perfect 30-0, if he wins, against the former, very world-known George St. Pierre. So that's something that's in the talks right now, in that as well. And really quick fun fact: on Saturday, because there was no audience at the fights. There was an instant where a fighter by the name of Trinaldo, he dropped this one guy, and the announcer thought that the referee should have stopped the fight right away. So he yelled, "Stop the fight," as loud as he could towards the octagon, which is what you're not supposed to do that at all. And since there was no audience, when the guy said "Stop the fight" and he yelled it really loud, the referee obviously he has to listen for a couple of voices that I didn't know this. Apparently, the referee is not the only one who can stop a fight. He has the ultimate say and authority, but if he hears a doctor in the sideline say "stop the fight," he will always take their judgment, because he will always assume that maybe he didn't see something and he'll go stop the fight. So that created some controversy this week in the UFC, where an actual commentator yelled, and it was so loud because of the fact that there's no audience, that he affected the outcome of a fight, and the referee didn't appreciate that. Just a little fun thing that doesn't usually happen. And thank you, COVID.
We've been saying that a lot lately.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for nothing.
Thanks, COVID. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Game On, a sports podcast for everyone. As usual, I'm your host, Don. Please don't forget to check us out on social media. Twitter is @GameOnEveryone. Instagram is @GameOnSportsPodcast. Also, Danny, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Short notice. That was awesome.
Yes, sir. Love being with y'all.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget, I know Danny's podcast, Small World Soccer Report, is not on our network anymore, but he is still doing his thing. Please shout your stuff out. Let people know where they can listen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Small World Soccer. So you can search that up on Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever other podcast site. I don't know. Definitely check us out on Twitter. We are releasing tomorrow brand new branding for Small World. It is brand new logo. We're adding a couple branches to our blog, which is kind of our main vessel at Small World. And for those who don't know, Small World Soccer, lower league content from pretty much anywhere around the U.S., kind of serving the deserving people who don't get a lot of coverage. Lower league soccer, obviously not super popular, but a lot of people, a lot of clubs, leagues that deserve a lot more attention than they get. So Small World's trying to fill that gap. And so all that being said, brand new logo and a lot of new cool content coming out. So you're going to want to follow us, SMLWLD, Small World without the vowels, because we're cool like that. So SMLWLD_official, because we're official like that. That's our Twitter handle. So you can follow us there. And we'll have all that information coming out soon.
Awesome.
That's amazing, man. I'm so happy for you, honestly. We brought you on. You know, I'm happy you branched out. You're doing your thing. I mean, that's amazing stuff, and what you're doing for that lower league community is absolutely amazing. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Danny, again, thank you so much for coming on. Bryce, thank you for coming on and flopping and betting $10 on Notre Dame.
Sir.
It's insane.
Yes, sir.
That's the worst $10 you'll spend, I think.
It is.
In the next couple of months. Again, guys, if you have any questions, you want to hear us talk about something, you have any suggestions, you want to come at me for shitting on Notre Dame, hit us up on our social medias. Like I said, again, it's Game On Everyone on Twitter, Game On Sports Podcast on Instagram. If you want to talk the fight game, we got DannyMiami here.
Yo.
Danny, what's your Instagram handle? Because you changed it because you're a punk ass.
DannyMiami_305, and the O is a 0, as in the 0 and the area code of the Miami Marlins. DannyMiami_305. And yes, guys, if you are listening to this podcast on YouTube, make sure you leave comments. We love going through comments and seeing who gets shat on. Like, hey, look, they talk shit about you, bro. Like, we love it. So bring the heat, bring the comments, like and subscribe, ring the bell, tickle the ding dong. You already know.
Yeah.
Wow.
The YouTube is the full name, Game On Sports Podcast for everyone. It's also in the link in our bio and all our social medias. Guys, thank you so much. Danny, Bryce, always a pleasure. And we will see you on Monday.
Peace out, y'all.
Game on, guys. Have a good one.
Game on.
You too. Later.